Alright folks, check this out. In today's 11 gallery ATV video, we are going to be putting together the stator side of the 200X, and we are going to be putting in the flywheel, and we're going to be putting in the pulse generator into the case cover, and then we're going to be sealing it up. We're going to finally sealing up both sides of this motor. We're going to get it down here where it belongs. You can see it's already down here. Now we're going to bring you into the steps that it took to get it done. So yeah, remember last video, we buttoned up the clutch side. We got all the components into the clutch side. So if you want to go back and look at that, you can do that. And yeah, let's get on down to it. Let's not even talk about it. Let's get right on down to the stator side. And oh yeah, by the way, a lot of you guys that are watching are not subscribed, and you would seriously help me out if you did subscribe. And ring that bell, you get notified. Click that all button down there to get all the notifications whenever 11 Gallery ATV puts out new content. You will get it on your YouTube when you sign in. You don't worry, no frets. They won't be giving you any emails or any notifications like that. Just whenever you come on, whenever you decide to come on to YouTube, you'll see new video content by 11 Gallery ATV, and we're going to be getting this thing fired up here pretty soon. Fire it up, let the engines roll. It's time to burn it down. Yeah, folks, look at this sexy dog down here. We're going to be getting this motor down in there, and it's going to be oh so... Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, so without further ado, let's just get this stator side hooked up. Woo! Alright peoples, now that we got the right side buttoned up and we got that baby sealed up, we can do the same to the left side, the stator side. Yes sirs, let's get the alternator in there, and we'll use the hardware that the OEM hardware, and we got a few seals, a few brand new seals, a few OEM stuff to put in, and we got our Tusk Racing caps to go in, and we have a few crush washers, one here and one here. The two crush washers go where the little diamonds are, or the little triangles. Yeah, let's get this baby assembled. Whoa, let's not lose these guys. First thing we're going to do is we're going to put in the seal. Yeah, there's one seal in the left side cover right here, and these are dowel pins. These will go on the case once we get that baby, so we'll set those aside. Alright, so what I like to do is take a little bit of the Ultra Slick assembly lube, which I have a nice little container of it right here that has an easy spout. What I like to do is just put a tiny little bit on here. Just enough. You don't want to like super coat it or anything, but just enough to give it a light film, and that'll help with inserting it in and everything, and it won't prohibit any of the sealing. Yep, and then it just goes right here. This is for the gear shifter. Yeah, you don't usually need any tools for this one. It just goes right in. Just so it's flush. Beautiful. All right, now as long as we're up here, let's just go ahead and get the the caps on there. So this is the timing hole cover and the oil flow hole cover. I guess you'd call it. The crankshaft cover. O-ring there. And an O-ring here. So we got one O-ring on this guy. And then we'll just put him in there. And then we got an O-ring on this guy. There we go. We're all buttoned up over here. Once again, these two little holes right here are for a couple of crush washers. We have those, but we're not going to do that until we put the bolts through. So yeah, let's get that Stator up in here, the alternator. Let's get the alternator up in here. Alright, so this guy. Alright, so what you want to do is you want to get this guy right here facing out this way, because this little guy right here is going to fit into this little slot. So first let's match up this hole. So you got a triangle going here. We got a triangle going here. Face it this way. These two are going to go that way. So we'll just get that, boom, at least into there. And then this guy is going to go into this slot right here. And then this guy right here is going to have the space and the word tech is going to be readable this way. So you want this to be towards the back. And then it just fits into the little, boom, it just snaps into there. And that's the way we're rolling. Alright, next is going to be this little bracket guy right here. And what's going to happen with it is it's going to face out this way. It's going to go on this bolt right, or this bolt right here is going to go through it. And it's going to, the wire coming out of the bottom is going to go inside of this little slot right here. Against the bottom of the case, against the bottom of the cover down there. And this little guy right here is going to hook into that little part of the case. So, if I switch hands, it's going to face out and sit just like that. And then this wire down here, you want to make sure, there you go, that you get it in there. All right. And then what we're going to do with these guys, I'm going to use some blue Loctite. And this guy is going to go right in here. We'll just get everything hand tight, and then we'll torque them down, and they're going to get torqued to 6 foot-pounds. All right, now that we got the pulse generator locked down, we can put the bolts into the stator. Blue Loctite. And there's one here. One here. And one here. And we'll just zip them down, and these get torqued to the same as the pulse generator. These get torqued to 6 foot-pounds, and that'll be 72 inch-pounds. I they get torqued anywhere from 5.8 to 9. And since we got the blue Loctite on here, I'm just going to go 6. And this guy also gets stuck into here. But I'm not sure how we're going to do this. It's kind of crusty, and I think we're going to use some black RTV on here whenever we put it together. But those two pieces go in there. And let's get these torqued. Where's my goddamn torque wrench? Alright, once again, these are going to get torqued to, I'm going to torque them to 6 foot-pounds, which is going to translate into 72 inch-pounds. So let's get it done. 72. 72. And that was a 4mm, by the way, 4mm Allen head. And these guys right here are 5mm, and they're going to get torqued to the same torque spec. 72, which is 6 foot-pounds. 72. 72. Let's just make sure. Yep. 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 All right. Now we're going to put our flywheel in, and we can go from there. And then we're going to get our sprocket, our front drive sprocket in there, and we're going to get our sprocket guard on, and we're going to put this case cover on, and yeah. All right, let's move on. Woo! It's exciting. We're getting there. And then the next step after that is we're going to put this bad dog into the machine. Yes, sirs and ma'ams and in-betweeners that aren't quite sure if they're ma'ams or sirs. You too. Whoever's watching. Cool. Let's go. All right. Next, we are going to just install the flywheel. There's not much to this motor, just a flywheel and a stator, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, so all we're going to do is plunk that thing right on there, and you're going to match the Woodruff key with the little slot. And let me show you. The Woodruff key just sits in the crank right here in the little slot, and I'm not getting a new one. There's nothing wrong with the one that came out of it, and it was functioning fine, so we're just going to leave that as it is and plunk this sucker down on there, torque it down, and that's that. So alright, what we're going to do though, is we're going to take a little bit of assembly lube and put it right on here. This is the ultra slick Permatex assembly lube. Alright, now we got that in place, we can just put this right on down on there. And then it gets a flywheel bolt and a big old thick washer. And it looks like this washer is kind of a little tiny bit raised on one side and very flat on the other. So you want the flat side to go against the flywheel. And in this case it's used so you can see where it's already been. Boom. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the blue Loctite on here. And then we had to figure out some way to hold this guy. We've already sealed up the other side, but it says in the manual to do the same thing that you did when we did the clutch. So we could have used a penny or something in the gear if we'd left this off. A little late for that now. So we're going to have to improvise a bit and find something else to do. I did have one of these that I thought would work, but apparently this guy doesn't fit in there very good, does it? Well, we can kind of give it a try. Well, it looks like we can get a little bit of pressure on there. Let's see if we can get 36 foot-pounds. 34 foot-pounds, my fault. We're gonna torque this guy to 34 foot-pounds. Manual calls for 33 to 40. We're gonna go ahead and use the 34 since we got the blue Loctite on there. I feel that's plenty. All right, let's see if we can get 34 foot-pounds out of this guy. We might have to phone a friend. Oh yeah, it's slipping already. Well, this is not going to be an easy chore to get 34 foot-pounds out of this guy. We may have to crack open that other side. Let's give it another whirl. Oh, it's spinning. Ooh, we got her a little tighter. Maybe I can get 34 out of that. One more crack at this dog. Oh, just slipped. I'll tell you what, I gave it the college try. And it's pretty close to torquing. I can feel it. So, what I'm going to do... Alright, well, I gave it the college try to get that thing torqued to exactly 34 foot-pounds, but the manual calls for 33 to 40, and I think we're pretty close to there, so I'm just going to hit it one time. And you know what? Let's at least put this guy back on there again. And let's just give it a couple of whacks with this guy. That'll get us a little bit closer. I'll just watch this right here, just to make sure it comes up across over here a little bit. And that should get us 40 foot-pounds right there, or thereabouts. So I believe we're close. And there we go. That ought to take care of it. All right, now we got the flywheel in there. We can go ahead and get our gasket, and we can seal this dog up. We're going to need a couple things. We're going to need our couple dowel pins. With the dowel pins, we're going to go ahead and use some anti-seize. We don't want these seizing up in there. These are notorious for that. So we'll just hit these with the little bit of the anti-seize. And we got one up here. And we got one down here. Then before we lay the gaskets down, I'm going to go ahead and use some Maxima waterproof grease. Just put a nice little coat right along the outside of here where the gasket lays. In case we need to crack this back off or anything like that, we'll be able to get her done. Alright, and then of course you want to put a little bit the same. You want to put a layer on here. Alright, now that we're ready to lay our gasket down and cover this baby on up, in this particular engine, the cover, the sprocket cover, actually is part of these last two bolts. So this guy, we got an aftermarket one, is going to go onto these two bolts right here, and it's going to cover the sprocket. So we're going to go ahead and put the sprocket on, and it's okay because we have a chain with a master link, so we'll be able to feed the chain through and hook up the master link with this baby sealed up. So we got a brand new JT sprocket, 13 tooth JT sprocket that we're going to throw right on here. And we got our OEM brand new bolts and a brand new set plate. So let's get her done. And I'm going to put a little bit of the Permatex ATCs inside of here. Keep that baby from locking up on there. And then this guy goes on just like halfway in there. And then you spin it so it matches up with the bolt holes. And we're going to use some blue Loctite. And the other one. And then we'll just zip them down. And these get torqued between 7.2 and 10. I'm going to use my go-to 88 inch-pounds, which is 7.33333 repeating. Alright, so we're going to throw the gear shifter on here temporarily. Just enough to give me a There we go. Now we'll see if we can't get that torqued up. Alright, hold up a second. Now let's throw this guy on there. We only need 88 inch-pounds out of this one, so it's a little different than trying to torque that thing a while back. So let's see if we can't get it to hold now. There we go. 88 and 88. All right. Well, that took a few maneuverabilities to get that done, but we got her done. So now we can put the old, we didn't wreck any of the grease either, I don't think. A little bit up here. We'll re-smear that. We'll get this gasket on, and we'll get everything sealed up. Well, let's put this back in neutral. There we go. Now we're in neutral. So the gear shift, that's always a good sign. Alright, now we can lay our gasket down. So you want to line up the dowel pins. Boom and boom. Alright, now we can lay this guy down right on top of there, but before we do that, we're going to take a tiny bit of the Ultra Black gasket maker and put it right here because it's a little low. So just a tiny bit on there. And that ought to seal that little space up right there. Alright. And one other thing we're going to do is we're going to take a tiny bit of assembly lube and put it right on the inside of the seal, just a little bit. And a little bit on this guy. Alright, now we just line it up. Ow! Make sure your fingers are out of the way when it clears that seal. And then we find the dowel pins. And there we are. Now we have two crush washers that are going to go where the triangles are. There's a triangle here and a triangle here. And we get a crush washer there and a crush washer there. Alright, now that we got this set into place, we can go ahead and get our bolts in there and get them torqued down. So yeah, so we got one 35 millimeter. The rest of these are all 28s. And when you measure these, I guess I never really said that. It's from the end, from the bolt bottom to here. So this is 35 millimeters. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to dab a tiny bit of anti-seize onto each one of these on the way in. And the 35 millimeter one goes where the dowel pin is. Now these two right here are going to be for the sprocket cover. And we're going to have to put a couple things on there. But what we're going to do, there's going to be the chain guard that's going to go behind up here at top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of anti-seize right on here as well. And a tiny bit on the back of here so it doesn't get seized up on there. And then on the bolt. And this calls for a 35 millimeter. The bolt that came with this kit is 40. I don't know if it's too long or not, but we're going to give it a try. And if it doesn't, if it bottoms itself out before getting too tight, we'll have to figure something out. But let's see. The other bolt they gave me in the kit is a 28 millimeter, which is correct. And I'm going to finish off the anti-seize with the back of the plate here. Alright, now the way this works, this guy is going to go right here, and then the plate is going to go over the top. So let's just get that in place. Get the bolt through. And then we'll get the other one started down here. And we'll just zip these two down real fast first since they got different Alright, now we'll go to this end and we'll just start zipping these things down, crisscrossing. Alright, and then we'll go one more level. We'll start here. And then we'll hit those two up there. Alright, now we can get these babies torqued down. There is no torque spec for these, so I'm going to use what I did on the other side, and I'm going to go ahead and hit these at only 4 foot-pounds, because with the anti-seize in there, I believe we can get a pretty good torque out of them with just 4. And yeah, I feel 4 is plenty with this amount of bolts. And if it leaks, well, we'll just torque them down a little harder. But I don't want these things to snap or get seized in there, so 4 foot-pounds I feel is plenty. And 4 foot-pounds is 48 inch-pounds, by the way. So I'm going to start with this guy up here. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. And let's hit that guy over there. 4. 4. 4. 4. All right, we're torqued up, we're sealed up, we're sprocketed up. Yeah, we are ready to throw this bottom end into the machine. Because yeah, we're not gonna build the top end up on the stand because it gets too high, and this thing's too awkward with this. This thing is made for newer motors, so it kind of sits cockeyed, and yeah, we'd be building out this way, which wouldn't be very productive. Yeah, so we can go ahead and get this baby on into the machine and we'll build the top end from there. Whoo! This is exciting! We have the bottom end of the motor completed, fellas and folks and ladies and dogs and cats and whoever's watching. Anybody out there, you're watching. This is exciting. Alright folks, check it out! Woo! We have the bottom half of the motor, the bottom end of the motor is completed. Yeah, look at that dog. It's getting ready to be put right up in there in that beautiful factory motor stand right there, engine stand. We're going to go ahead and put that sucker right on in there and get to building. We got all the stuff we're going to put on. We're going to be dumping these motor mounts on. We're going to be putting that up into the frame here. And we're going to hook the chain up right there. Yeah, this is going to be super exciting. So if you're new here, make sure you subscribe. Make sure that you ring the bell. Make sure that you click all. And then you won't be notified per se. I keep saying you'll be notified, but you know what? I don't want to scare you. You're not going to get any emails. You're not going to be notified, anything like that. Just every time that you come to YouTube, right there on your homepage, you will see brand new videos from 11 Gallery ATV whenever they drop. So don't worry about, there won't be any extra stuff going on. It'll just be like at your convenience. When you get onto YouTube, you will see new 11 Gallery ATV videos right there on your homepage waiting to be viewed. And yeah, we're going to get this motor in here right now. And then we're going to get on to gas tank. Alright, without further ado, let's just get that motor up in there. How's that sound? That sounds beautiful. Let's do it. Alright, so the first step I did is I went and got myself a hydraulic jack to put it underneath there since I'm working by myself. And what I'm going to do is, since the metal's kind of showing there and this is meant for a car, I'm going to throw a welding glove on here. So it keeps the bottom of my engine nice. Anyway, now we're going to pick this dog up and we're going to attempt to line up the bottom motor mount here. We're going to drop the motor into the bottom motor mount here first. And we're going to have to maneuver this guy up into here. So, and we're not taking off the foot pegs. They're already torqued down and everything, and that's one advantage of doing it this way too, is without the top end down, we don't have to take the foot pegs off or that brake pedal over there. Everything's all ready to go, and we can just pick this up and set her down in there. So let's get to town. Alright, so let's pick this guy up and go up through here. And then tilt her back. Whoa, 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 whoa. Seriously? What the fuck? Ah, there we go. Ow. Okay, so we want to go through there. This is a pain in the ass. Alright, now let's get the motor mount on the bottom in there. There we go. Oh no. How did that get through there? Come on, you piece of crapola. Of all the things. Good Lord. Okay. Okay, now we have this bolt right here, the longest one, is going to go in the bottom. Looks like we can just put it in there now. There we go. Okay. Now we got the bottom one almost in the hole. We're super close. So, we're going to give it a little bit more. We just need a little bit more. I think we need to drop the jack a little bit. All right. It's not even on the jack anymore. All right. There it is. Okay, so this bottom hole right here, this is what we're going for. We're going right in there. We're going right in there. And we're so close. All we need to do is pick the motor up just a little bit and it will go right in. But that's easier said than done. Get some better leverage here. Ooh. Is that it? There it is. The bolt's through. Woo! All right, now that we got that baby most of the way in there, we can take us a punch and kick it the rest of the way. Nope, we're gonna have to pick up the back of the motor here. All right, folks, so we need the opposite. We just needed to push it down a tiny bit. And now we shouldn't even need a hammer. Boom, look at that. Now we're through. And we're going to tap it in just a little bit. Now we're all the way through. And I should have been paying attention and not rested the punch on my beautiful painted. Anyway, you live and you learn. So pay attention to what you're doing, because I just scratched my beautiful paint job. And that sucks. So anyway, let's get us a couple more of these bottom motor mounts in here. So now we got one here, and this is going to be the one that we're just going to hook this guy. And it takes these little bolts that are this size, but I got some brand spanking new ones. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to put in this top one up here, and we're not going to tighten any of the, or torque them. We're just going to tighten everything down, get it situated, and then so we can build the top end on here. And we're not going to torque any of these. We're going to torque them at the very end when we have the top end done, and we're going to torque all the bolts at the same time. And we're going to back each one of these out and put some Loctite in there too. But for right now, we're just going to put everything in place. And you just want that super loose. And then we'll put the bottom one in. And we'll get that super loose, loosey-goosey. And then we're gonna have to pick this up a bit, throw this guy through. And it's self-threading, there's no bolt, it threads into the back there. All right, we're not gonna tighten that one, we're just gonna zip it in there for right now. All right, and now we're just gonna get our timing chain out of the way so we don't keep on messing around with that thing. All right, and now we got our front motor mounts right here. And the way these are gonna work, this guy right here is for the skid plate. So it's gonna face down, and these guys are going to go just like so. And takes a long bolt and a short bolt, and the short bolt goes up top, and the long bolt on the bottom. And 2 nuts, one on each end. 2 nuts. We'll just get these loosey-goosey. And then one of these we're going to back this guy off. I don't know if you can see, but the top motor mount we did, we're backing this one off. There we go. Now we can get a little play on it. And we need our jack to give us a little pressure. There you go, that comes in handy right there. Now, we don't want to go in all the way, just want to go right to the edge. Because we're going to do the same with this plate over here. Alright, so this guy is going to face down, just like this does. This guy is going to be for the skid plate on the other side. So these two are going to be your motor mounts. And we're just going to stick it on the other side of the motor, and these two are going to connect onto the frame. So we're going to go right in here. And then the same, we have a long bolt on the bottom. Short bolt on the top. And 2 nuts. And then we can slam this guy all the way through. Boom! And now the top one. The top one's not quite as nice. Hope I didn't ruin any of those threads on the way through. That would suck. Let's kick her down and see. Nope. Those threads did not do anything. Perfect. Alright, and then on the back side we have 2 nuts that go on the back of these motor mounts. And one there. And let's just zip these down real fast. Like I said, folks, we're just going to tighten these down for the time being, and we'll torque everything after we even get the top end built. So we're just going to zip these guys down just in order to give us a secure working space. Yeah, all right. And then we have this guy. And these 2 guys right here. And then we have this guy way back here. I don't know if you can see him very good or not. Let me get the brake pedal out of the way. This guy right here gets a nut on the back of there. Alright, then we just hold this guy with the wrench. If I can get the wrench in there. Which we can. And zip it down. All right. Now we can zip these fellas down. Let's get our caps in there. All right, folks. Woo! Look at that. We have a motor in. Woo! This looks beautiful. I really want to see what it looks like with the chain on it. Let's get the chain in there. All right, let's get that chain in there. I want to see what it looks like. This is gonna be badass. And we got ourselves a blue O-ring chain, and this is a 520 86 link chain that's the same size as the OEM ATC 200X from 86. So let's get that in there. And we got a 13 tooth here in the front, and we got a 38 in the back. So let's get that chain up in there. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna go up over the chain guide. And we're just gonna go up through the sprocket. We're gonna take our punch and get that thing where it belongs. There we go. And we're coming through over the chain roller to grandmother's house, and yeah, woo! So then we're gonna get it about right up in here. And it looks like we're not gonna be able to do it. We're gonna have to do some adjusting back here. We're gonna have to adjust this thing so that it gives us some more slack this direction so we can hook this guy up. And then we have our O-link master links. And so we're gonna take a couple of the O-rings, put them on the back. Like so. And then this guy, I don't believe we have enough. Just barely not enough. We're gonna have to adjust it back there. All right, so we're gonna have to loosen these guys up back here. This guy and this guy. And I don't think we ever tightened them, to tell you the truth. They're probably still loose. Oh yeah. All right, now we're gonna have to rotate this in order to give us some more slack in there. So then we take this guy, and I think we go that way. It looks like we're getting looser. Looser gooser. And there we go. That really seems to be pretty good right about there. We may be able to tighten it just a little bit. That's good. We'll fine tune that whenever we get down to doing the brakes and getting everything sewn up. But let's get this master link on there. First, while we're here, let's just tighten these down so we don't lose our spot. And we won't torque these right yet. We'll just tighten them down so that we don't slip. That's good for now. We're gonna back these out in blue, Loctite them and torque them and everything once we get the chain situated where we need it. I think we need to get this off the ground and get the slack out of it in order to do that. Let's just get the master link on. Woo! So we have a few remaining pieces left. All right, so first we're gonna take our O-rings and plunk them on. And then we're going to take the cover and we're going to plunk it on. We're going to try not to wreck any of the paint, but you want to slam that guy home. If you get the right one. I couldn't even tell where I was for a minute. Jeez. There we go. Okay, so you want to get this guy on. Oh no, don't come off. There. You got to smash the O-rings. So with the O-rings still in there, smashed, then you can take this and you want to take the bigger opening, slide it on so it's facing this direction, just like this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to grab the back and this, and we're going to shove this thing forward. Just like that. And now we're linked up. Yeah, see, we're going to have to adjust to that. That's a little too much. But we're on there. Woo! Look at that, folks. We got us a chain. Woo! And then we stand back and look at it. Whoa! That, my friends, looks beautiful. Woo! We're getting there. We are getting there. Now, all we need is the top end of this dog. We need to fill that space right there. Hells yeah. So, woo! And we need us some cylinder jug bolts, studs. We need everything on there. So, yeah. Let's get on to it. Oh yeah, what do you say we plug one of these dogs in and give it a little whirl. Fire it up, let the engines roll. It's time to burn it down.